We'll call to order the Wednesday, January 20th City Council work session. I need an approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Yes.
Okay, we're going straight into our Canada Beach Elementary School public input. And I have a list, if I can find it. I have to switch here. We have five names. But before I jump right into those folks, Bruce, do you have any lead-in or comments?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay. First name on my list is Susan Glarum from ECAP. Susan, can we look her up so we can? See that.
Unmute. Okay, I think I'm on.
We can hear you.
Okay, good. All right. This is Susan Glarum, P.O. Box 108, Cannon Beach. And I will be speaking on behalf of the Ecola Creek Awareness Project. I am a board member. Dear Mayor, councilors, and staff, the Ecola Creek Awareness Project, ECAP, supports a number of ideas regarding the creation of a community center at the Nacoos Park Cannon Beach Elementary School site, refurbishing the gymnasium and all of the classrooms and using them as well as the beautiful outdoor area along the banks of Ecola Creek. We especially appreciate many aspects of the vision plan prepared by the Greater Ecola Natural Areas GINA group for the City of Cannon Beach at the request of the Cannon Beach Parks and Community Services Committee and presented to the committee and the City Council in 2015 and again to the Council in 2019. It is particularly important to us that the historical significance of this site to the Clatsop Nehalem people be respected. We hope the current Clatsop Nehalem tribal members will be able to play a prominent role in this new endeavor, including participation in determining the use of the gymnasium, classrooms, and green space. We'd also like to see a display of cultural exhibits telling the centuries-long history of the Clatsop Nehalem tribes at this site, including mention of William Clark and his party who visited the village of Nacoos in 1806. Further ideas we especially support are to have an outdoor gathering area with rustic seating for social and educational purposes, a raised bed native and medicinal plant garden that requires no ground disturbance, removing invasive plants along Ecola Creek, guided walks along the trail with possible signage identifying flora and fauna, and doing any needed environmental restoration of the estuary. For decades, the elementary school has been an important part of our Cannon Beach community. We believe that continuing to foster the education of children and adults, both residents and visitors at this site, is a worthy goal. We support the idea proposed by the Haystack Rock Awareness Program, HRAP, of using one of the refurbished classrooms for a nature interpretive center. We'd also like to see the much needed food pantry continue to operate in its present location. It is exciting to be able to participate in this wonderful project, and we look forward to helping it progress towards a goal that will make this site a crown jewel of historical, cultural, environmental, and educational value in our town and region. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Susan. Before I move on to our next panel attendee, I'm going to read off the names of who's here. I think who's here is going to be the folks who are here. We started this last meeting because it's hard for you folks to see who's here. And I'm just going to read it off real quick. Andrew Tonry, Betsy Ayers, Deborah Attia, Janae Pierce-Munchen, Jennifer Grosslaudy, sorry, Jim Pano, John Bueller, Kathy Klezak, Les Sinclair, Luann Barrett, Michael Manzui, Mindy Hardwick, Patrick Nofield, Randy Neal, and Susan Clarum. And at that, the next person on my list is Randy Neal. So if Randy could be hooked up, we'll see what he has to say.
All set?
Randy, thank you.
I sent a letter. I hope you all have it. That's pretty much self-explanatory. Tomorrow morning, there's a meeting with the Parks Committee to talk about what's the right thing to do on the outside courts for pickleball. And about a month ago, I started spending time talking to folks in town who do play or would like to play or think they might like to play. And, basically, I think there's a lot of interest, and what you'll see is a couple of petitions there that, as we were collecting up inputs for the outside, it's like, let's collect up inputs for the inside. We'll just kill two birds with one stone. So I think what you'll see is there's at least 50 people, 60 people out there that have an interest in pickleball. We fully support everything that you've already heard from Carmen and anybody else. And I think it's, a pretty worthwhile effort, as long as the gymnasium gets used as a multi-sport kind of gymnasium.
Very good. Thank you. Next on my list is Andrew Tonry. Andrew? There we are.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey, we can see you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. Very much appreciate this process. I'm speaking at first on behalf of the Tolvan Arts Colony, and then I have a few comments at the end that I'll try to separate into my own feelings. Definitely want to thank the council. I know this is, and city staff. It's been a long process, and it's good to see that it's happening. So that's great news. So I think, the Arts Colony has long had a vision and interest, starting with our founders, Billy Holtz and Michael Burgess, that wanted to see the elementary school be used for both artistic education and events, as well as cultural exchange opportunities, and the opportunity to respect, cherish, and teach the history of the Clatsop Nehalem. So I think with the Arts Colony, we could certainly see doing events like winter concerts or events that are too large for, or that have outgrown Tollevan Hall. And that's not an entirely, there's not a lot. And I think that's an interesting thing that we should talk about. I've been thinking about this in terms of things we have in Cannon Beach and things we don't have in Cannon Beach. So there are a number of meeting places in Cannon Beach, such as Tollevan Hall or the community hall at the Chamber. We also, and then there are performance spaces as well, such as the Coaster Theater. So for, I think we want to be sure not to duplicate these things and try to look into things that we don't have. Most obviously, what we could use, and I think everybody supports this, is a gym for indoor athletics, exercise, especially in the wintertime. That's basketball, futsal, pickleball, you know, and on and on. I think, and again, there are things we could do in there, you know, salmon celebration, dance performances, things that need a bigger space, or, you know, but we have meeting spaces in town. You know, do we need to duplicate in the classrooms? You know, I walked by there today and peeked in the windows, and you know, those classrooms are about the size of Tollivona Hall. And to anyone listening who is looking for a meeting space, it's open to the public. If you have a group or something like that, please contact me and let's put it to use. So, and again, like, you know, the Chamber, Cannon Beach Community Hall is a great, comfortable space. There's no reason necessarily we need to move to a bigger space, such as the gym, for a lot of events that are not going to need that extra space. And, you know, having thrown a bunch of events, intimacy is key. You know, you don't want to, I mean, being together is is good. We don't need to, I mean, now it's social distancing, but whatever, we don't need to get into that. So thinking about things also that we don't have in Cannon Beach, it was mentioned earlier about an HRAP, Nature Interpretive Center. And what we don't have in Cannon Beach is a full representation of the tribal history there. And I think those are two very good options for inside the classrooms. We have, let's see here. I think that's all I have from the Arts Colony. Obviously, we'd like to, you know, take advantage of it, and we'd like to see athletics happening there. Now, personally, I'd like to put a big wall down now and move personally. I do think that the first and most important aspect of this is the tribal connection, and I think that should be the priority first and foremost. And given that history and the history of the elementary school, I would like to see the space be primarily used for nonprofit and community type needs. I think it would be kind of perverse to see rentals for weddings and things like that, or like a company retreat from Amazon happening there. I think that would be a weird use of it, and that should probably remain in the private sector. I know you guys have to fund this, and I don't fully understand, you know, or know how that will be done, but and that, you know, maybe getting revenue is is a requirement. But I just think that it's, you know, it should be a community facing space, and community and nonprofit events should take precedence over profit making endeavors. So that's I think all I have to say. I have a lot of thoughts about management and operations, but I think we're not at that juncture yet. This is more about facilities. So that's my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Any questions for Andrew, or? Okay, we'll move on to, hang on, lost my list. Mike Manzulli. Look up Mike. There he is.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
I want to thank the mayor and city councilors for your decision and vision to purchase this elementary school site. And thank you for giving the public all these opportunities to weigh in on what we want to see happen here. A lot of what I'm going to say was short, but I'm going to echo what Andrew just said and Susan Glarum at ECAP. Since the closure of the school, the Greater Ecola Natural Area Group, GINA, which is basically a gathering of local nonprofit leaders and the Clatsop Nehalem tribe, we made the elementary school site our primary focus because it was just such a special opportunity that had come in to being. Over the years, GINA worked with the city to support the city with its efforts to acquire and establish NACUS and the elementary school buildings now. When weather permitted, our meetings were outside at NACUS, and they were often the highlight of our respective work weeks. Sitting outside with passionate community members on the edge where the mighty Pacific salt water blends with Ecola Creek's mountain spring waters is a powerful and energizing place to meet. We often saw the mayor walk by with his dog, and it was just kind of, like I said, one of the best parts of our work week. This mixing zone of fresh water and salt water, incoming tides, outgoing creek water, swirling winds, it's full of positive ions, and it affects everyone if you take the time to sit there and soak it in. It's no wonder that for centuries, the Clatsop Nehalem people resided here. And I want everyone to really not lose sight of that, as I know you're not going to, but you really got to think about that. For generations upon generations, this was a place of coming together. I mean, for at least 1,000 years, this was a community space. As a member of GINA, I encourage you, councilors and mayor, to revisit the plan for the site that the city has already spent consultant dollars on. The vision for the site in that plan reflects most of the public comments that we're hearing in the last few meetings. But it's worth keep our eye on that plan. And I personally, this is a personally ask that the Clatsop Nehalem tribe be given a formal say in the outcome for this land. It means more to them than any non-tribal member can ever know. Unlike the coastal tribes in Washington state that were able to hold on to some of their estuary lands and gathering spots, the Oregon Coast tribes had everything taken from them. And just think how connected you feel to this place because you were fortunate to attend school here or send your children to school here, or like most of us, just that feeling you get, that sense of relief when you roll back into town over the bridge after being gone for a little while. Now think about that feeling going back in your DNA for thousands of years. This is an ancient place of community, and I applaud the city for keeping it a place of community. Visitors should always be welcome, but out of respect for this land, the tribe, and the current local people, tourism should not be the focus. It is GINA's hope that community and the natural environment be the city's main priorities. And I want to thank you so much for all the work you're doing, and happy Inauguration Day.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, before we go to our wrap-up report, I want to ask the folks who are on the attendees if they want to raise their hand. Now is the time to do it, because we've done this before. And any short comments that somebody has? Betsy. Rusty, can we hook up Betsy? Here we are.
Hi, everybody. Can
Hi,
you hear me?
Hi.
Hi, yeah. Anyway, the good work goes on. Way to go, everybody. And I just want to say I really appreciate Mike and Sue tonight representing the GINA group at the ECAP report, and also for Andrew's comments, which were wonderful. But you know, the NACUS visioning plan is somewhere on the shelf, and it doesn't seem like it all has to be, we don't have to rediscover the wheel here. So I hope that while the council is considering all its input, that the work of many years will also be considered. Thank you.
Thanks, Betsy.
Thanks, Betsy. And so everybody will know, the GINA map at least is in our packet, so it's not just on the shelf.
I have the report on my desk and have asked repeatedly to take that into consideration. So Betsy, it's not sitting on a shelf gathering dust.
Last call for little blue hands. Okay,
I guess
I'm going to then proceed to our report from Kelly. There we are.
All right. Do we have that PowerPoint ready at all, Rusty? Awesome, thank you. Okay, so there haven't been a extensive amount of updates. It has only been 5 days since the last one. We did get 2 specific comments that came in, one of which was covered actually on this meeting. So this won't take too much time, but I'll go through a few of the changes. As you can see now, the scale on the chart has changed. And part of this is, as we heard from Randy Neal today, about their organized petition and comments and signatures that they got for support of pickleball courts within a multi-use, multi-sport recreation kind of setup. That number that is on here is not actually completely accurate because I haven't, I realized I didn't go through and check for duplicate names. So I think it's actually within an error of like maybe 15 or so names that have already shared some comments, or some names that weren't yet taken into account for. So that's the biggest change that we're going to see in here. But in addition, there was one more proposal that was made, another new idea, and that was for classroom space. So I'll get to that when we go into that topic. Then the next slide, I think, is just now here's the kind of new organization for the comments on the gym use space. Again, it's nothing new, it's just more support for some of the things that were already brought up to you. And then the classrooms, though, not much change for the outdoor. I forgot about that too. A few more in support for kind of outdoor gathering spaces. But the classrooms are where the newest proposal came in, and this is over for the idea of a cultural heritage center or a sustainability center that is focused on community education, driven by sort of cultural heritage around here, as well as a sustainability focus, so on things on such as like gardening and art. So that's kind of really the only new update that we've received, and all of those should be in the packets of letters and emails that Jen's prepared. So that's the only updates I got for now.
Can we give just a quick reminder that all public comment received is on the website, so you can just access it right off the website.
Sorry. Jennifer, are
Yes.
those listed in the order they came in, or how are they listed?
The order they came in, so the newest is on the bottom. Just scroll to the bottom and you'll see the newest ones.
Okay, I couldn't tell what I'd read before. Thank you. Anybody else? Questions or concerns?
Sam, it looks like
Agreed.
there's one hand that's still up.
Still up. Uh-oh. Who is that? I don't know, have a name.
Yeah, there's no name associated with it.
Okay, well, let's let them speak. Hello. Need a name and address, I think.
Oh, hi, it's Jeannie McLaughlin,
Oh, hi,
and
Jean.
I'm at 139 West Washington. I missed the first 10 minutes or so though. And so, this maybe somebody has even mentioned it, but if we do something with the indigenous people, well, there might be a way to, instead of building concrete buildings, maybe do something like a longhouse that would more, be right along with what the indigenous group that lived here, had. But anyway, it might be less expensive too, since it's wood. It's just a little idea, but I know we're not even to that point yet. But anyway, yeah, I like the idea of something, that cultural heritage and all that, the history, and maybe we can do something like Greg mentioned to make the gym look, or the classrooms at least, and the classrooms to be significant as people come into town to see some indigenous things. We have some good muralists. Donnie Masterson, once he has done some murals, and anyway, possibilities with all of our artists here in town. That's all.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Sure.
Okay, but good. I just wouldn't mind reminding folks that we opened this whole process with our meeting with Clatsop Nehalem representatives. So they are involved. I'm always gonna maintain that. With that, I don't see any other more hands, and with Kelly's help and anything last minute from staff, Bruce?
We have our final input meeting of the 4 that we had set up. Doesn't mean we won't be taking more, but we set 4 dates. The final one is Saturday at 5:30. 4, sorry. Saturday at 4. And I will also be doing tours from 2 to 3:30 on Friday, if anybody wants to go through the property.
Good. Okay, then. We will move on to our next item, close down this portion of our meeting. So the input is appreciated and we're done for the day. The council has one more topic that we're going to try and talk about, which I'll just let Bruce introduce it.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor, we need to get a hold of Bill, so can we take a 5-minute break?
No problem.
Okay, and so, 5 minutes?
Yeah, we're just going to stay on this Zoom, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I guess we'll reconvene. That's Bill's with us, and we'll go right into it.
Okay, so just wanted to, this is more an informational than a decisional item that the Najimi Alterman land use decision was withdrawn at LUBA, and we're coming back before the council at your February 2nd meeting to consider some changes to the decision. In particular, an issue was identified about habitable space and that there are some conflicts with it. And so you should get a staff report for that meeting that explains what's happening and make some suggested changes that we can discuss at that point. There's a statute that allows us at the state. And once the council decides what it wants to do, when they make the final decision, we'll refile it LUBA. And at that point, the appellant can decide whether they want to continue their appeal or not. And that's really, hopefully, pretty straightforward. If you have any questions, happy to talk about it. Otherwise, we'll bring it back to you at February 2nd meeting.
This is Mike. I feel that we need to, as long as we're looking at this again, I think we need to take another look at the open space requirement. As I go through all these different numbers and different exhibits and so forth, it appears to me as though even without including the parting square footage, which kind of is irrelevant, I think, there is sufficient open common community open area, even after you exclude the easement for the driveway. So I'd be glad to sit down with Jeff Adams and explain why I think that, maybe before we bring this back before the council, so we don't waste time. I don't waste your time going through that at that meeting.
Yeah, and so we did not specify what issues we were going to be reconsidering. We can look at the entire thing, so that certainly can be part of it. The only limitation that we have is we've got to get the decision on reconsideration back to LUBA within 90 days. And so, we've got some time, and if it makes sense for Councilor Benefield to sit down with Jeff, if we can do it February 2nd, great. If not, if it gets pushed out, that's fine too.
Okay. Am I looking at the back of Jeff there? I can't. Where is Jeff?
Yeah, just let me know anytime. Just give me a call.
Yeah, I'll give you a call and you can walk me through those calculations, because I think I may have a different idea on it. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So, anybody else? I have no questions. I read through what was on the packet and that looked appropriate, I guess. So that's all I know.
So then I guess we'll see you either the 2nd or possibly a later meeting, depending on when Mike and Jeff have an opportunity to sit down and work through the numbers.
Jeff, I'll call you tomorrow morning. Sometime.
All right.
We set something up.
Sounds good.
Okay, then. See you on the 2nd.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we have anything for good of the order?
Oh, Bruce, you have a list.
Oh, yes, I have a list.
Of course.
We'd like to finalize a date for the proposed special meeting regarding rates and projects for February 4th. I think we've heard from some, but we would like to hear from everybody to make sure we can schedule that.
Well, I do have another meeting that night, that same time, actually. I think I can get out of it. It's a fairly important meeting, but I think I can probably get out of it.
Like us to attempt to reschedule?
Reschedule the special meeting, you mean?
Yes.
If everybody else can make it, I'll try to get out of my other meeting.
Okay, Jen, what time did we propose?
6 o'clock worked best for the most people that replied.
Okay, it seems 6 o'clock is the time that's being requested. And also we'd sent around a copy of the water capacity report. And we're trying to schedule all of our workshops and things and wanted to know if that was something that council would like to have on a workshop relatively soon.
That's fine, unless, we've done those before, but every year, but to me, it can wait a little bit if we need to, if we got all this other stuff pressing, but I don't mind doing it during a workshop.
Yeah, at this point, we have nothing, nobody is approaching, there's no reason to, it's not like there's something imminent or decision has to be made using this information. It's a positive report. We are in good stead for water. So, but if you want we can bring somebody in to go ahead and do the presentation if there's a request for it. And I think that is it.
I noticed.
So anyway, if you please get back with Jen on the 4th.
Yeah, I'd like to see a water presentation.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the 4th sounds fine. Wait, I saw something here. Oh, Jennifer sent us the ADA audit report.
Yes.
Do we have a chance to discuss that at any point, or?
We can put it on. We did very well this year. It'll be done again in 5 years. They did appreciate some of the work we've done recently on some beach accesses and parks. And so let me see. Then what would you call it? Not a study, but a inspection?
Yeah.
Yeah, inspection, yes.
Yeah, we just call it an audit because they're just
Yeah.
auditing the new things that have been new since the last audit. And we also
Yes.
had them look at some places that aren't new since the last audit, but just could be like the restrooms. Things that, people use a lot to make sure that we're still compliant.
Yeah, and then like the fact that we're putting in accessible document passer in the finance department.
Right.
It will be totally accessible. So those are some of the things. And for people that don't know the history, there was a court case in which the resulted in an agreement that we would be audited every 5 years for our progress on handicap accessibility. And again, this particular report came out very favorable for the city. Now, if you would like us to present it, you have all the information, but if you'd like us to present it, we will put it on a workshop.
I don't need it. I don't think it needs a 100% full on, PowerPoint type presentation. I just want it on a workshop so that we might have a couple questions answered. That's all.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
All right. February is getting very full, so are we okay if we move some items out to March?
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
So that would be the water and the ADA?
Probably, yes.
Okay, in March.
And there might be some other things that we try to move. The last discussion, Robin, that I had with Doug and Dick Bash was to try to get to February 9th. And so I'd like to give them a considerable amount of time.
Oh, that'd be
their discussion. And there's a lot of other items that are on that at the same time. So some other items, I'm just saying some other items move to March too.
Something else, I don't know if you noticed or anybody reads the Seaside Signal, but there's almost a half page, maybe a full page article about the land the North Coast Land Conservancy donated to the Clatsop tribe at the mouth of the river, and a particular individual that is working with them, designing a longhouse, museum, meeting space, etc., with the tribe. And I've heard nothing from anybody other than that newspaper article on that. A great deal of it seemed to be a duplication of, I think, of some of the vision we've had in talking with the tribe. So, Sam, I think you've probably been in greater contact with them than most anybody else. It'd be helpful next time we get together if you give us maybe what you know about that.
Yeah.
And the article just came out, I don't know, I just saw it a couple of days ago, so I don't know.
I think the Nature Conservancy also has a video out on that same thing as well, about the land that they sold and the plans for a longhouse. Yeah.
The only thing that Dick told me was that they are, the leadership of their group is focused on that effort right now, but they don't want to lose track of what we're doing. So I know they're still partners that we're working with. So we'll just keep them apprised of where we are and we'll work together.
All right. Thought I'd pass that along.
Okay, that's it for good of the order.
Well, did we reach a decision on the 4th?
I'm okay with that.
I'm good.
6 o'clock?
6 o'clock?
I think that's what we all said,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Good.
So if Nancy, for any reason that doesn't work for you, let us know and we can reschedule.
I'll just work it out. So yeah, that'll be fine. I'll just tell my other meeting people that I can't be there.
Okay, so the special meeting is confirmed for February 4th at 6.
Good.
Okay, we are then adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night.
Right.